Hey, they squabbling out there. What's going on, people? It's your boy, Uncle Fred, back in the house. Camp battle, camp fight. And I think it was epic, and we're going to talk about that and what we think that means. And it kind of shows you the pecking order of the Lions' pride that our Cowboys have become, and we see who the alpha of the alphas is. So we're going to talk about that and what that means. Uh, don't listen to the four-letter networks. I think this is a good thing. And then there's earlier in the practice there was a Jalen Tolbert sighting. Don't look now, but Jalen Tolbert might be moving up the charts, man. I'm not talking about the music charts. I'm talking about the pecking order and or the hierarchy in the wide receiver room. We're gonna talk about that. Could this be the end or near the end for Michael Gallup? We're gonna talk about that here in just a minute. Hang loose with your boy Uncle Fred. What's good, people? Welcome to Uncle Fred's Rants. I'm your boy, Uncle Fred. Please hit that like, comment, and subscribe and become a part of the Uncle Fred Sports Experience, for I guarantee you will not be disappointed. So, fight, that little part that I said at the beginning, that's a shout out to William Skywalker Steele. Will Skywalker Steele, and they had a little thing. I watch them every day. That's like my content. Kind of have weaned myself off the four-letter networks, so I kind of listen to them and get some of their perspective and the different personalities and the media people that they talk to, and kind of you get a different perspective on cowboy news and stuff like that. So and so there was this incident that happened a while back, and they had this guy commenting on it. Oh, hey, they squabbling out there, and that I got to get to a point in my videos, and I'm going to where so they become a little more nuanced, where I can upload like videos and share my screen, and you can see what I'm talking about. So a lot of times when I'm talking to you about on the field and stuff like that, I can actually show you the plays and stuff like that. But I got to get to that point and where I can kind of do those kind of things. But anyhow, there was sort of today there was sort of a couple of things that broke out in the in training camp. They're back out at Oxnard, and so there was like a one-on-one drill that they were doing, sort of like a one-on-one drill. It's like the two offensive linemen and a center, or two offensive linemen, a center, and then going against a defensive lineman. In this case, it was Sam Williams. At this point, the center was it wasn't Tyler Biotish who was on the sideline. It was Brock Hoffman. He's a second-year guy from Virginia Tech by way of Coastal Carolina. Probably not going to make the team, but I don't know. We always need extra offensive linemen. You never had too many offensive linemen. But anyway, they were running this drill, and so they just he kind of dipped the shoulder on Hoffman, got around him, and then afterwards they kind of did a little push. You push, and he pushed me, and then Hoffman made the mistake of pushing him and kind of turning his back, and of course now Sam Williams, like walked up on him and just kind of shoved him. And then out of nowhere, here comes Tyler Biotis and just blasts him, and he goes down, feet in the air, and all that kind of stuff. So, and then he gets up. He's just beside himself because he got hurt. You got depleted. So he's up. He's like swinging on everybody, trying to get not swinging, but he was trying to get at everybody. And so here comes Alacone, I think that's his name. He's a reserve defensive lineman. I think he's from Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. He came and he was trying to console Sam Williams. Sam Williams wasn't having no parts of that. Basically said, get off of me, because he was still running hot. And next thing you know, he's here comes DeMarcus Lawrence, Tank Lawrence, in street clothes, and he got a hold of him, and kind of you noticed that he didn't have that same reaction with him as he had with Alicia Alacone. I think that's how his name is pronounced. And so that got squabbled. Okay, but it was a little bit of a melee. There was some people going back and forth, because the Sam Williams got knocked down. You got knocked down. Hey man, you didn't embarrass me out here. So later on in practice, there was a little thing that went on. It was a regular routine play, I guess, and the Tyler Biadasz is in there this time, and he's going in, and he's going against Micah. And Micah just whips him and gets around him, and then of course they have words, and then of course here comes Sam Williams, because he just remembered he got depleted early in practice, so he takes out his pound of flesh and wham, and whams Tyler Biadasz, and then then he gets up and he's going back and forth with Micah, and Micah is swinging on guys, which, like I said, camp fights can be good because I'm gonna tell you where it comes from. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you where it comes from. Now, the offense has done some things in the arena, but for the most part, the offense has been getting its butt whipped. And let me plug this in. I think this might go dead on me. Laptop might go dead. Let me plug this in right here. There we go. Just to make sure we don't have no mishaps, whatever. So anywho, what's been happening is the offensive line, if you notice, even in Saturday's game, they've been getting their butts whipped, because you had Brock Hoffman, Josh Ball, the two Matts, Walesko, and Valesco and Fournette. I'll get it right in a minute. And then for a good bit of time, it was Bass, TJ Bass, the undrafted free agent guy they got out of Oregon. He played a little bit of left guard, and then they had Awesome Richards in there a little bit later. But for the most part, aside from a couple of bright spots by Bass and Awesome Richards, offensive line was getting his butt whooped. And so during the training camp, the offensive line been getting its butt whooped. So a lot of times that stuff comes to a head. So yeah, the offense is tired of getting pushed around, tired of Micah, eating their lunch, tired of Sam Williams eating their lunch and taking their lunch money, right? So this little drill, and what really was going on with Tyler Biadasz, the guy that's with Hoffman, he's like a first year player, and really he's like the backup center. And I'm thinking Tyler Biadasz kind of has taken that guy on his wing, and he kind of felt like Sam Williams punking him. So he's like, no, you ain't finna punk my guy. This is my guy, and all guys take up for the offensive guys, and the defensive guys and stick together with the defensive guys, because we're going against y'all. We're trying to take y'all out, right? So that's kind of what was going on with that. And of course, now it spilled over into the next skirmish with Biadasz again, but then it was with Micah. And of course, now Sam had to come and get his little part in there, because, and so Micah's in there and he's swinging on guys, which, I like the competitiveness, and I love the fights. I love all the stuff, because that lets you know that they not playing. But what it also is letting you know, what I had a sort of an issue with. I didn't set up my there we go. But what it lets you know is that, Micah, being, he's the leader of the team, but sometimes he's still a young guy. He's still 23, 24. And you can't be swinging at guys with helmets on with your hand. It's easy way to get your hand broke. So he's up there doing that. And who comes to his rescue? Or who comes in? It's Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott comes grabs him by the back of the shoulder pads and snatches him away from over there and says some stuff to him and kind of gives him a shove. I'm like, dude, get it together. Can't have you getting hurt because our season is ruined if you go out there and step on a helmet or turn your ankle while trying to fight or hit somebody's face mask and break your hand. And so it's just not, not worth it. But we see he didn't offer no kind of retaliation or nothing towards Dak. He just kind of listened to him and then went on. So we see Tank Lawrence and Dak Prescott, they the Mufasas of this blind pride here. So yeah, man. So that's but here, this is what I think, man. Like I said, offensive linemen getting his butt whooped for the most part. The defense has been having their way with them. At some point, the offense is like fighting back. It's like, look, man, we ain't gonna be too many more punks. We gonna fight back. And so, but the offense have some of their days too. So there's been some back and forth, but I like that competitiveness. And they done had enough of each other. They've been going at it for like 3 weeks now. And I mean, tempers are short, it's hot, and I get it. And so I'm just thinking right now, the Giants better be wary because these guys are looking to tee off on someone who they don't care if they knock them the heck out, and that would be the Giants. So come September 10th, hopefully we can get through another couple of games. We've got a game Saturday with the Seattle Seahawks, and we're gonna see what transpires there. I would look for probably Deuce to run with this first team, probably Deuce and Rico Dowdle to run with the first team, and then probably the second half you'll probably see Hunter Lemke and Malik Davis. So they'll probably do a flip-flop of what they did last week or whatever. So, but yeah, man, tempers is hot, tempers flaring. They just wanting to get at guys, and it means something to them. I think the intensity of the moment, I think the urgency of the moment is hitting a lot of these players. They're like, man, we are a good team. We are a good team. And I think they've come to that realization that, hey, man, we might be the best defense in this NFL, and we not taking no from nobody, not even my own offense. We're not taking anything. So, man, I just can't wait to September 10th, man. That's all I can say. I think, man, barring some kind of unforeseen injury, man, I seen this fire, this fight, this passion. But you see who the lead dogs are. We see Dak Prescott is the alpha dog. I know Micah's an alpha dog too, but but we get ready to see what this team's all about. Barring some kind of injury, man, I don't know, man. This year has sort of a special feel about it to me, man. I don't know about you guys, but that's what I feel. I feel like this year got some kind of a special feel to it. So I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, man, fight, man. They squabbling, and yeah, man, I'm ready to see them squabble and get off on somebody else, man. Don't fight your brothers. Fight somebody down the street. Don't fight your brothers. Right. All right. Now the second thing we're gonna talk about, we're gonna be done. We ain't gonna talk long, man. It's 2:00 in the morning. I should be in the bed. But anyway, I'm always up to talk Cowboys, So there was a story this morning that happened that we talked about on a couple of the content creators. About Jalen. I'm gonna tell you something, man. Jalen Tolbert has been showing out in practice. I mean, he's making these acrobatic catches. He made a catch today in practice over Eric Scott Jr., where he kind of went up, high pointed the ball, and he kind of like and stabbed that thing and tiptoed his feet down. And I was like, whoa, that kid got that kind of ability, that kind of hands and body control and all that sort of stuff. Like I said, I will get to a point because I've seen the actual video courtesy of Cowboys Elite, the Cowboy Elite group, which my Facebook page is part of that. And I saw that and I was like, man, because some of the other content creators showing the same footage, but that was a heck of a catch. It was reminiscent of the catch he made in the Saturday night's game that got nullified. Man, when he and the guy made a call today on Will Skywalker Steele's show. He basically said that, you know, the guy kind of was overwhelmed last year with maybe the expectations that was put on him, because maybe the Joneses put too much pressure on him, not in maybe doing anything, but understanding they had just you know, traded Amari Cooper for a 5th round pick, which was never probably the one of the most fiscally unsound moves the Cowboys have made in terms of player and talent acquisition and, you know, a removal or what have you. But thinking, oh yeah, we got this 3rd round pick, we'll make it where we never even we'll miss Amari. And that's just too much, man, especially in an offense that was a little more complicated than he was able to comprehend. So he made the comment that I think it was a little too much on him, and he may have pressured himself too much, and it was just too much for him. He did too much that he couldn't even line up where he was supposed to. If you remember that Green Bay game. But now, man, it's sort of in a more of an offense-friendly offense, a wide receiver-friendly offense. The verbiage and the alignments and everything is all better. The routing concepts is a little bit better. You see starting to excel. You see him, you see his confidence just rising. He's starting to become that dude that they thought that he would be when they drafted him last year out of South Alabama. So from what we saw in the game Saturday night, man, it would become an foregone conclusion. Well, yeah, you know, it was a toss up between him and Simeon, and you got Kavontae Turpin, but it was like, you know, Jalen has pretty much solidified himself as that number 4. It's pretty much a foregone conclusion, right? But then he starts making these crazy catches. He's having what they call a loud camp. All right, a loud camp. That means he's making a lot of plays, and when the plays get made in camp, you hear ooh, you hear a lot of that because he's making plays. And I haven't really heard a lot from Michael Gallup. So the question got posed, and I heard it this morning, and it was talked about on Voss's show, and then of course you had the backdrop with the you know, the 4-letter networks put it out there that the Cowboys are looking to trade Gallup, but more on that in a second. But here's the thing. You know, you got this guy who's coming on like he's coming on. He's like making all these catches. It's basically he's got a wider array of skills than even Michael Gallup has, in my opinion. It's just a matter of him tapping into it. And here he's coming, right? He's on his way. He's coming. And Michael Gallup's kind of like, you know, and so the question got posed, if Gallup isn't Gallup, could you conceivably, you know, contemplate him being wide receiver 3? I mean, it's something to think about. I think a lot of water had to cut the bridge, go out the flow under the bridge for that to happen. Gallup would have to be unassuming and underwhelming this year. You know, I think if that happens, you probably get some more snaps with Jalen Tobin. Let's say, I know Vosh was saying, you know, I'm gonna give Gallup 5 games, and then I'm gonna see maybe start giving Tobin more snaps. You know, more plays. You know. Let's say, you know, they get, you know, a certain amount of plays. And let's say in them 5 first games, Tobin has a 5-catch, 65, 70-yard game with a touchdown. And maybe another game he has 4 catches for like 60 yards and maybe a couple of key first downs. And Gallup's kind of like, just muddling through. You know, I don't want to say that because it's always been Eston Stone, CD, Cooks, and Gallup, right? Nobody's seeing this thing coming at all, right? But here's the other side of that. Now, look at this thing from the Joneses' perspective. Now, I had a chance to pull up Michael Gallup's, but people got to realize And don't people always want to make this football this humanitarian type thing or whatever, right? Um, um, and it's really not. It's a business. All right, it's a business. All right. Michael Gallup, after the 2021 season, where he started off, he had a pretty good season in 2020, 1,000-yard season in 19. And then towards the end of the season, I think that game 15 in 2021, he tore his ACL, had a calf injury early, so he played a lot of the middle games, right? Well, at the end of beginning of last year, he signed like a 5-year, like $62 million contract with 57 of it, contract valued, and has some incentives up to like four point something $million. All right. And so he's making like an average of like $13 million a year, just roughly, right? Let me tell you how the Jones is going to look at this thing. And y'all, I might be way off. Uncle Fred may be way off, but let me tell you what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that Jones is looking at this like, man, if this Gallup kid, remember he's a 3rd-round pick, so he's not making great money. He's probably making $700,000-800,000 a year, $600,000-800,000 a year. Probably signed like a 3-4 year deal for like $2 million. Gallup's making $13 million. People want to make this a humanitarian. Oh man, the running backs are getting screwed with it. It's still business. And if you got a commodity that you don't think you can get more value somewhere else, you'll do that if you own a business. That's kind of where this thing rolls. You got a guy making $13 million and he gives you X amount of production. You get player B giving you 85% of player A's production at 1/10 of the cost. Gallup's making $13 million. Let's say, and I'm stretching it, saying Jalen Tolbert making $1.3 million. That's 10 times what he makes. That's 1/10. If you can give me 60 catches a year, 750 yards, 5 touchdowns, Gallup wouldn't give me but 65, 70 catches, and I'm paying him $13 million. Handwriting's on the wall, man. Now, I don't believe any of this, the 4-letter networks adages that that they're actively trying to taking calls on him. I don't believe that at all. I do not believe that. But Tolbert is making a case for himself. It's got to happen against front level competition. It's got to happen against players that don't mind knocking him down, because this is training camp. This is thudding. They're not tackling. So that he's got to do it in a real game against real competition and stuff like that, right? But he's made so many strides since what we saw from him last year. And I'm gonna tell you what Gallup said. Gallup said this. Don't take it from me. Take it from Michael Gallup, right? Michael Gallup said this, and there was a sound bite to that. I wish I could have got that. I didn't find the video for it or the sound bite, but this is what he said. He said Tolbert has come a long way since last year. He knows the whole offense, front to back. He can play any position he wants to. And he's a dadgum good athlete. That's exactly what he said. So he said, he went on to say, maybe I need to watch out for my job, to be honest. He's coming. And he laughed. And Skywalker said, he heck. He said H-E-double hockey sticks. And you laughing, Tolbert ain't laughing. The Joneses ain't laughing either. All right. So there is that. So there is that out there. So yeah, I'm just telling you like this. And I'm gonna tell you how Esther Jones is looking at this. They really weren't anticipating having to cough up $8.5 million to give Zach Martin, because that wasn't in their schedule. Okay. That wasn't on the schedule. That wasn't scheduled to be delivered right now. That we made an emergency delivery. I'm talking in layman's delivery personnel terms, right? You got your delivery delivery schedule. You deliver at this point. You make this delivery at this point. You got your route. It's all laid out, right? So the schedule, right? And they you know, you got Trayvon Diggs, and you got CD Lamb, you got Micah Parsons, and then you got all these other guys. You got Terrence Steele. He got to get his in there. So there's a schedule to this thing. Jerry Jones looked at the docket. I don't see a Zach Martin on my docket. But as important as he is to the team and what they saw Saturday night from the offensive line, they really had no choice. So they coughed up an additional $8. I mean, it's not a whole lot of money, but you know. But here's the thing: and they may be looking at this thing like, look, we got an opportunity. If Tolbert continues to look how he's doing, they got a chance maybe after this year or maybe after next year if Gallup don't become Gallup, what we remember him being. They may say, you know what, man, we can save that $13 million. And we're only giving him like $1.5 million a year. And that $8 million that we gave to Zach Martin that we weren't anticipating, we can just put that right back on the salary cap. Put that right back in our coffers, and we can do more stuff. And then we can just, you know, get another pick, some picks and some other things for Michael Gallup and save that $13 million. And because I'm telling you, he's looking for ways to get that $8.5 million back that he gave Zach, because that wasn't on the schedule. All right. So it's going to be interesting, you know, because I'm thinking the number 4 to the number 3, man, that's too steep of a hill for him to be climbing. But for the process, the progress that he's making, and Michael Gallup said it himself, he knows the offense front to back. He can play any position he wants to. He's just a dadgum good athlete. He said exactly that. Lines up in, they line him up in different places. That kid continues to get to improve. And Gallup might have to watch out because he's making a lot of money, relatively speaking. And like I was telling you before, if you can get the same production cheaper, why wouldn't you? It's a business after all. It's always a business. So always remember that. People want to get their feelings all into it, want to make it a humanitarian efforts and stuff like that. And it's nothing could be further from the truth. This is a business. These guys put on a business and it makes money. And if you can get X amount of production for this price, and I can get 90% of the same production for 1/10 of the price, you better believe they'll make that decision in a minute. So Michael Gallup, man, I hope you Gallup this year, because the Cowboys will benefit if you Gallup, because I would love to have a 4 wide receiver set that nobody can guard. That's what I would like, because I think our offense is going to be special this year. But anyway, let me know what you think in the chat or in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, become a part of the Uncle Fred Sports Experience. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. That's all I got for today. The fight, Michael Gallup and Jalen Tolbert. And we'll be coming to you later in the week. There's more things that are noteworthy and newsworthy arise. I'll be right here for you. It's your boy, Uncle Fred, signing off. We'll catch you guys on the next video.